Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
The first time we see Bathsheba, she's bathing on a rooftop. Or to be more precise, the first time David sees Bathsheba, she's bathing on a rooftop. But let's fast forward a bit to the part where Solomon was born. David and Bathsheba's first son had just died as a consequence of their sin. Their second son, Solomon, was actually the fourth son in line for the throne. But from the beginning, God chose him as the next king. In fact, the Lord sent word by Nathan the prophet to say that God loved him and gave him a special name. Solomon's name that God named him was Jedediah, which meant beloved of the Lord. We know how the first three sons turned out. Ammon gets killed by Absalom because he raped their sister Tamar. Then Absalom tries to take over the kingdom and gets killed in a resulting battle. Then the third son in line, Adonijah, tries to take over as David is dying. That's where we're going to pick up the story today. Nathan the prophet saw what was going on, and he knew that this was not God's will. If Adonijah established himself as king before David died, he could have Solomon killed. So Nathan wanted to make sure this did not happen because he knew that it was God's will that Solomon would be king. However, instead of going straight to David about this, Nathan went to Bathsheba. It was her son who was supposed to be king. It was her son who was at risk if Adonijah came to power. And she had great influence over David. He'd promised her that Solomon would be king. Bathsheba stood up for her son before David. Between Bathsheba and Nathan, they convinced David to take action, even though he was old and feeble and really not feeling well. He made arrangements to have Solomon crowned king with his blessing. You know, that's one thing that mothers do. They stand up for their children. I've known mothers who go to great lengths to make sure that their children get a good education, whether that's homeschooling or standing up to the educational bureaucracy to make sure that their child gets the help they need in the school system, or even working double shifts to help their child through college. If someone is pushing our child around, we suddenly become that proverbial mother bear to protect our young. But I like what Bathsheba did that we can do as well. She took her son's problem to the throne and claimed the blessings for him that the king had promised. She used David's own words to her, promising that Solomon would reign after him. She knew David loved Solomon and wanted what was best for him and for the kingdom just as she did. We can do that too. We can take our children or our children in the faith before the throne of God and claim the promises that our King Jesus has given us, knowing that He loves our children even more than we do, and He wants what's best for them and for His kingdom. What promises can you pray for your children today?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.